Titans on the beat.
What's good, everyone? It's your boy Nazi with another video for the channel. Welcome back to the MV Sports Zone. And of course, I'm coming off the heels of a very disappointing loss, 2013, by our Washington football team against the Carolina Panthers. And while it was disappointing, I won't say it was unexpected in the sense that obviously us Washington football team fans have gotten used to these sort of losses over the years, whether it be leading into a potential playoff berth, right? I believe it was like 2017 or 2016. We also that Kirk Cousins interception to the Giants team that was pretty much putting in all their backups other than Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie at the time, and he obviously caught that interception. But even beyond that, right, we're just used to these disappointing losses, and it sucks. It really does, especially because we got the Eagles next week, which I'll get to a little bit later in this video. But I do want to give you guys a breakdown of this disappointing game. First and foremost, Panthers wide receivers showed up early, and I talked about this on the live stream, guys. This Panthers offense has been underrated pretty much the entire year. I get it. They didn't put up a massive amount of points today, but the offense just finds ways to move down the field and put themselves in scoring position. And we saw that today, right? DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel were all getting involved. Even Mike Davis had a touchdown. Teddy Bridgewater wasn't too bad. He was actually pretty decent. And the Panthers was pretty much carving us up in the first half. We got to be honest, right? Our defense didn't have the best of performances. We did give up those 20 points in the first half. Obviously, we did much better in the second half. We didn't give up any points, I believe, and we ultimately lost the game without giving up more points on defense. But Panthers offense was pretty much moving all over the field early on in the first half. But there was some good defensive discipline. There was some good defensive tackling that we saw. Cameron Curl was all over the field, right? Cam Bam, very much a 7th round hidden gem for us. There was a couple of big sacks, one by Deron Payne, I remember, early in the game. And Antonio Gibson was looking good, right? He hasn't played since the first drive, the first snap of the Pittsburgh Steelers game, I believe, and he looked pretty good. Should have been used more towards the end of the game, right? I don't know why we moved away from the run game completely in the fourth quarter. I get it. We were down a couple scores, but the run game was pretty much what was keeping us in the game. When you think about it, we had the Panthers rush defense that I believe was like 27th or 28th in the entire league in total rush defense, and we, some ways, somehow, Scott Turner, I don't know why, moved away from the run game completely. But yeah, Antonio Gibson looked good. J.D. McKissic as well, right? McKissic has pretty much looked good the entire season and pretty much has stayed healthy. Hopefully he stays healthy next week because we're going to need him. But good games out of every one of our running backs. Even Payne Barber had a couple of nice runs. There was obviously the bogus fumble call early in the game, right, on Dwayne Haskins. We'll get to another call a little bit later, but bogus fumble call. I thought it was a clear incompletion. Even my dad, who was watching the game with me, thought it was an incompletion, and they ended up calling a fumble on Dwayne Haskins, and yeah, that really shifted the momentum. We also saw the the fumble that Steven Sims had on the punt return, I believe, and that was egregious. He just let the ball just like roll off his chest onto the ground, and ultimately the ball rolled into the end zone. The Panthers scored their first touchdown and put themselves up 6-0 in the game, and that really was a wow play, right? Early in the game, it was pretty much a defensive slugfest, and it was 0-0, but Steven Sims, man, I tell you guys every single week, Steven Sims is in for a drop a week, right? This week, that drop ended up being a fumble, but I mean, you kind of expect this out of Steven Sims. He's been a bust. I personally was not hyping him up in the offseason. I know a lot of people were. A lot of people saw the highlight reel and saw that Steven Sims had a lot of potential, had that connection with Dwayne Haskins. I wasn't one of those people. To be fair, again, I didn't think that Cam Sims also was going to have a great season. He's pretty good, but he had a couple terrible drops today, couple passes, especially thrown towards the end of the game with another quarterback, which I'll, again, talk about a little bit later. He just pretty much did not catch the ball, did not put two hands under the ball, and both of the Sims didn't do really well, but especially Steven Sims with that costly fumble early on. And Dwayne Haskins, man. Dwayne Haskins. I don't know what more I can say, right, after what happened last week. I haven't been a believer in Dwayne Haskins since, I believe, the third game of this season. I know a lot of people weren't believers even earlier than that, and kudos to you guys. I know my cousin was really blowing the bullhorn when it comes to Dwayne Haskins and maturity, and I thought, like, his moment after getting drafted and all that was just he'll get over it. But no, Dwayne Haskins has been an absolute bust, the worst quarterback I've seen on the Washington Football/Washington Redskins in my lifetime, and I'm not even exaggerating, guys. I've seen enough out of Dwayne Haskins. His time in DC is up. If he starts next week, I will strongly consider not watching. Obviously, I want to watch, right? Because it is, hopefully we can clinch a playoff spot, but every play with Dwayne Haskins, I just cringe, man. I expect an interception. I expect a batted ball. It's gotten to that point where Dwayne Haskins, I've seen enough. Again, I've seen enough. I don't want him here in DC. I think he won't be here in DC in the offseason, but especially next week, I would rather go with a guy who came in towards the end of the game, and Taylor Heinicke, who actually had some nice throws towards the end of the game. I know we were down by 2 scores at that point, but we also had a touchdown pass to J.D. McKissick. But even then, he was throwing dimes to Cam Sims, throwing dimes to Steven Sims. The broadcasters even noted that his rhythm was really good with all the receivers, and that's impressive for a guy who hasn't been here for more than, a couple weeks at this point. And yeah, I think Heinicke definitely gives us the best chance to win next week against the Philadelphia Eagles. But Dwayne Haskins, man, just awful. I mean, like, what more can you say? Again, I hate to say this, he's the hometown kid, but he's immature off the field, immature on the field when it comes to making the right reads and just reading the field in general. And it sucks to say this, and obviously we're at this point where we're pretty much our quarterback situation is pretty much screwed, for the next game. But again, I think Taylor Heinicke does give us the best chance if Alex Smith does not come back healthy. Outside of Haskins, though, Steven Sims, again, terrible. Jeremy Reeves wasn't playing too well, and that sucks again because you guys all know Jeremy Reeves. I believe it's a 2019 training camp. I got to meet him and got to talk to him. He gave me an autograph and all that, but wasn't playing too well today. I got to be honest with you guys. And then the offensive play calling. Scott Turner, what are you doing, man? Like, I see tweets like what Burgundy Blog posted yesterday that I kind of agree with, right? When it comes to Scott Turner, like, I understand that he hasn't been given the best of weapons and he's been able to do some really good work, especially with Alex Smith being the quarterback and offense has been moving. But when it comes to Dwayne Haskins, like, I know a lot of that has to do with Dwayne Haskins being an absolute bust, but I just don't understand the play calling. Like, again, we literally went away from the run game completely in the fourth quarter, right? Completely in the fourth quarter. Again, we were down by 2 scores, but Antonio Gibson was running the ball really well. J.D. McKissick was as well, right? If you're worried about Antonio Gibson getting re-injured, right, with that turf toe injury, McKissick was also really good. So I don't understand why we didn't run the ball more, especially in the beginning of the fourth quarter when Haskins was, I don't know why, but he was still in the game, and really could have moved the ball more and gotten some more first downs, potentially scored a touchdown on that last Dwayne Haskins drive, right, that ultimately ended up with, I believe it was the second to last drive that ultimately ended up with 3 points instead of 7, which we needed at that point. But yeah, the play calling, the decision to not bench Haskins earlier, like, you guys all know I'm one of the biggest Ron Rivera fans out there. I really, really am. Just Ron Rivera the person and Ron Rivera the coach. But today wasn't necessarily his best showing, right? The fact that he didn't bench Haskins early in the game, a lot of people were calling for it. I was calling for it too. A lot of us were calling for it right out of the gates of the second half and stuff, but it didn't happen until the fourth quarter. Thought it happened too late. And I think if Heinicke actually started, right, the entire second half, potentially we could have won this game. We would have had a very good chance because the Panthers defense isn't all that. And Heinicke was moving the ball on that defense too with very limited weapons, right, with Terry not being in the game. But yeah, moving on though, I want to talk about some bright spots. I really do. Outside of Taylor Heinicke with the last couple drives, I will say that Chase Young, man. Chase Young, at this point, right, we saw the Chase Young versus Jeremy Chin battle, right? I know a lot of Panthers fans thought that Chin Probably should be the defensive rookie of the year, but I think this game for Chase Young pretty much sealed it. He was all over the field once more. He had a sack. He had, I believe, 2 fumbles caused, and it was just all over the field. I believe he even caused a interception by Cameron Curl that we saw early in the game. And Young is a special talent. I'm glad that we have him. Especially glad because we'll probably draft a quarterback next year, right? And having that quarterback plus Chase Young is better than having like a Tua this year. Justin Herbert, he's actually really good, but I would still rather take the Chase Young plus quarterback duo that we'll probably get in the offseason, whether in the draft or free agency. But he was all over the field. Montez Sweat had a nice sack late in the game. Fortunately, it was too little too late, but ended up playing pretty well. Jonathan Allen played pretty well. Again, doesn't really show up in the stat sheet, but when it comes to defending the run and forcing consistent pressure, he pretty much does that, and we see that week in and week out. This year is probably his best year as a NFL player. But yeah, I do also want to talk about, some of the good plays towards the end of the game. We did see a Haskins, Sims play, Steven Sims and Cam Sims play towards the end of the game, which were pretty nice. Probably the highlights of an absolutely abysmal performance by Haskins once again. There was a play where Haskins inexplicably missed McKissick for an easy first down. It was an easy first down. I believe that was the drive that I was talking about a little bit earlier where we could have scored a touchdown, could have put 7 points on the board instead of 3 points, and really allowed us to make the game a legit game and really give us a chance of winning the game towards the end. But of course, Haskins missed it like he always does. I do want to talk about something that was all over Twitter. Why the heck did the refs call Mike Davis down, I believe, or just stop the play altogether when it was a clear fumble? The ball was on the ground when they stopped the play. So why, right? And a lot of people talking about why Ron Rivera should have challenged it and all that, but you can't challenge it, right? It's a play that was stopped dead by the refs, so you can't really challenge it. And that was a big momentum shifter. That was an easy touchdown, fumble return touchdown that could have made it a 1-possession game very early, much earlier than it was towards the end of the game, right? Where we had like a minute, 50 seconds left, no timeouts, and try to kick that onside kick. Ultimately was unsuccessful, but yeah, that was a very, very stupid play by the refs and definitely cost us there. But yeah, outside of that, guys, there isn't really too much to say. It wasn't a great game. It wasn't a great game. Heineke definitely gave our offense a boost towards the end of the game, but by that time, as you guys see all over Twitter and all over Facebook, it was too little too late. We ended up losing 20-13 once again, and now we're playing the Eagles, and really, this is what it was for this pretty much the last couple of weeks, right? Where the Eagles game was pretty much going to decide our playoff hopes. A lot of people were predicting that, and ultimately it came true. I see that the Cowboys are winning right now, I believe. By the time I recorded this video, it's 30-17, so we'll see if the Cowboys can hold on. But even if the Cowboys do, next week, if we win, we're in the playoffs likely, right? We're in the playoffs because we have that tiebreaker with Dallas, and we're still in first place right now, no matter the result of this Eagles-Cowboys game. And yeah, it definitely should be interesting. It helps that the Giants lost today to the Ravens, so there's still a game back, right? But we have to win next week. I don't know if we're gonna win. I really don't know. I was thinking that going into this week because the Eagles with Jalen Hurts, I know he's not truly balling out today, but he's still a pretty good quarterback, pretty dual threat quarterback that we always seem to struggle against, no matter how good our defense is. And it's going to be tough. It really is. But you know what? Week 17, win and get in the playoffs, Hopefully we do it. It's going to be a tough test. It really is. I think our defense is going to step up, though. I really do. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be able to scramble sometimes, but I think our defense will step up. They did in the second half today. Didn't give up any points once again. But I think it's going to come down to our offense, right? If Terry McLaurin, please Terry, come back. If Terry McLaurin can be healthy, Antonio Gibson can be healthy and play, and J.D. McKissick, right? Logan Thomas. And then, of course, the quarterback situation. It's just a lot of ifs at this point, guys. A lot of ifs that are not pointing in the right direction for our team. But just gotta have faith, right? Washington football team fans, faith is all we know, and we'll see, right? I will say again, if Heineke starts, I do have much more faith than if Haskins starts next week, which is kind of sad to say out of the 15th overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, right? When it's still 2020 and we're talking about him being benched. But once again, yeah, tough loss once again, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know this is a little long-winded, but I wanted to give you guys some analysis on this disappointing Sunday evening after Christmas, and unfortunately didn't get our Christmas gifts for the Washington football team, but hopefully we can get it next week. Gonna be tough, but we'll see, right? It's the NFL. Anything can happen, and gotta move on to Week 17. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the DMV Sports Zone channel. We're trying to post fire content on here as much as possible. Hopefully after Washington football team wins, but also try to post Wizards content on our Twitter page at DMV Sports Zone and our Instagram page, all lowercase, DMV Sports Zone. But that being said, thank you guys once again for watching, and have a great rest of your weekend, a great week, and see you next week. We'll hopefully have a little bit of a fantasy video for those of you who have a Week 17 championship. I don't know why, but we'll probably have something out on the channel for you guys, and obviously we'll have our weekly live stream as usual, and we'll see if I can get some special guests this time around as well. But see you guys. Peace.